Alright guys, welcome back, and we're going to start with the front end of our application today, and we're going to be using Vite to install React and TypeScript, and we're going to be using it for a couple of reasons because it's very fast when it comes to compiling our outputs and displaying them to the user. It's very fast when we building. So we're going to be using Vite with React TypeScript. So you can head over to Vite website to actually check them out. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to be using ChatGPT to just give me some commands that we can easily use to run our application. So we're going to be using Tailwind. So let's just install everything all together. Let's just find the command. Now this is the command that we need to use. So let's go over to our app, and right here we're going to open the terminal. We're going to come over here and run our application. So we're going to call this front end, and let's click enter. And that will just take some time to install. So that has finished installing. The next thing we want to do is to install Tailwind. So let's go ahead and look for the installation for the Tailwind. Let's see, Tailwind. Vite has their own Tailwind, so use Vite Tailwind. Vite has their own Tailwind, so we're going to just use that. Let's see. This is not the command. Let me quickly look for the command for that. It's called Vite CSS Tailwind. Let me see if I can get the command. If I can get the command. Yeah, this is what we want. So let me copy that. And right here, you can see our front end is already running. Front end is already running. And if we should open our localhost, you can see we have the React app installed already with the counter. Well, let's just go ahead and install some few things. Front end, and let me just go and install this real quick. Yeah, that has installed. We need to do some basic settings in our Vite. We need to set some things, like we need to set the alias so that we can easily import stuff. We need to set the tailwind. So let's come over here and say tailwind, uh, tailwind CSS, and this is actually a function from the package we just installed. But let's just manually import that. So let's say import tailwind CSS from at tailwind event. Okay, and this is all we need to do for that. And we still need to use resolved and do some settings. So we just say alias. Okay, so this just points us whenever we're importing some component or anything, we don't need to look for the route. We can just use the alias. So we can just use at and just point that to, let's say, path, and just resolve the base, the relative path for whatever we're doing. So this will be directory and dot source. So we look into the source folder for anything we're importing, and on the server We can specify a port that we want our application to be running on. I'm just going to say port 15173. That's like the default port for Vite. We're just going to build. In case we need to build, we're just going to say directory, and this will be out. Okay, so anytime we're building, this our build file will go into this directory, and basically these are the settings that we need to do in our Vite. We don't need to do any more, complex settings like that. This I think the for me, I think this is not enough for now. The next thing we can do is to actually import our tailwind css into our base css, so that we can easily use that from anywhere we want to use it. So I'm going to delete all this, and right here I'm just going to import. uh, going to import tailwind css, and we can say custom variant. We can give this a dark, in case you might want to do something dark mode in the feature, but we're not doing any dark mode in this app. So we're going to say is and dot dark. Okay, so that just take away some, let's see that expected rule. Okay, right here we might not actually need this for a lot of things. We might not actually need this. I have some rules that I use in my personal project, so I'm just going to copy them. You can find these rules in the project URL for this. So I have those rules right now, and yeah, that's what I'm going to use. So what else? What else? Basically, we don't need to do a lot of things. We don't need to do a lot of things right here. Yeah, so let's just leave it like this. If there is any other settings we need to do, yeah. So right now, if we go ahead and review our application, you can see we made some changes. If we go ahead and review those changes. Okay, so you can see Vite right now. Let's just go ahead and confirm our tailwind CSS works. Let's confirm the tailwind CSS work real quick. So right here, I'm going to delete all this. I'm going to delete all this. I'm just going to delete all this for now. Let's just say h5 and give this a class name of text base. Yeah, so let's see if that works. Let's just give it some context to the test. Let's give some context to the test. Let's type some things. Okay, coming back here. Yeah, does that work? It's really hard to tell. Let me see. Um, let's see that the color did not change. That means our tailwind CSS is still not working. Let's see why the reason for that. I think custom. Let's see. Um, tailwind CSS. Let's just confirm if the package installed successfully. We have tailwind, and we have tailwind CSS for Vite. So let me see. Maybe there is still something we need to do that we're not doing. Okay, okay. So I think the problem is we're not importing it. Let's just import the index. Okay. Yes. Let me see. Index.cxs. That's where we have our tailwind. Let's just comment this out for now. On our app, we have this. We are importing the tailwind. Let's just go and import this on the main this thing on the main app. Yeah, we have it right here. App.ts. Yeah, so we have the CSS running right here, and we've taken out the this thing. So yeah, so this working now. We have our tailwind installed and it's working, and you can see it has returned. We will check our elements, body, roots. We have the base right there, and so this is working right now, and the tailwind is working. So um yeah, so that's what we need to do. So the first thing we need to do is to start with the designs. Then from the designs we go into other things. We start building the components. From there we go to logic, and from logic we start integrating the endpoint that we created earlier. So let's get started. I'll see you in next video.